Our focus became perishable products that could range from fresh vegetables to pharmaceutical vaccines. Tripti, we have more than 550 clients today across India, and they range from clients as big as Zepto, Zomato, Parag, Baskin-Robbins, to as small as some Litchi manufacturers from Muzaffarpur, like Shahi Litchis, to a small ice cream manufacturer in Haridwar, to a momo manufacturer in Hyderabad.
This is episode number 42 of MSME Talk, Transforming Logistics, Solutions for Perishable Product Supply Chain in India. Welcome back to MSME Talk podcast. For micro, small, medium enterprise businesses and startups, MSME Talk brings value addition guidance, products, services, industry experts, and information to scale up and build unshakable, long-lasting business. So please don't miss to hit follow or subscribe button. Also, do sign up for newsletter for more information and update. Link given in description. Welcome to MSME Talk podcast. I'm your host Tripti. Today, we are going to explore how a company is transforming perishable product businesses in India through cold chain delivery solutions. We will dive into their integrated services, covering benefits, processes, industries served, geographical reach, costing, ensuring safety, quality, efficiency, and supporting growth of food and pharma sectors. We have founder of Celcius Logistics with us today. Celcius Logistics is into cold chain solution facilitating the smooth movement of essential perishable commodities in India. Large food distribution companies like Zomato are also their clients. So let me welcome Swarup Bose, founder of Celcius Logistics, on the show now. A very warm welcome, Swarup, on MSME Talk podcast.
Hi, Tripti. Thank you for having me here. I'm happy to speak to you about my industry today.
Thank you. Thank you. So, Swarup, to begin with, obviously, it's kind of a warm up also and intro also for our listeners. We would love to know something about you.
To tell you about me, I'll start with my father, how I entered in this industry, who was the inspiration behind it. My father has spent 40 years working in the cold supply chain industry. Most of the time he spent in this industry was in Middle East. He was in Dubai for almost 28 years while I was here studying, finishing my education. I've seen him tackle the challenges in the cold supply chain, come up with innovative solutions, but that was a business that he was doing for somebody else. So he was a general manager there. From that experience, we started a very small company in India, which I was heading. This is almost 20 years back, where we were into manufacturing cold storages. We were doing projects all across India, working with farmers, working with big manufacturers, working with small guys, working in tier 3 cities, working in metro cities. So we got a lot of exposure in this industry. And having spent 20 years in this, I've seen the fall and the rise and different industries, clients. I've worked with transporters, I've worked with cold storage owners. I tried being a transporter myself. Around 2015, I put in 30 vehicles which were running under our name. And I became a transporter of sorts in the refrigerated transport industry. Did very badly, lost a ton of money, shut it down in 3 years. But I could empathize with the transporters in India and the troubles they faced in this industry. And with that learning, in 2020, when the lockdown came, me and a couple of my friends who are my co-founders today, Arvind and Rajneesh, we got together. And during the lockdown, we started thinking about doing something for this cold supply chain industry. And obviously, the subject matter expertise came from me, having spent 2 decades here, with the technology expertise coming from Arvind. And we launched Celcius as a platform. That was the beginning of our journey in Celcius. And we will be discussing how it has grown and what we have achieved so far. But this is the origin story.
Okay, wonderful. So we can see this strong foundation of many decades.
Yes, there is.
Wonderful. So, Swarup, let's get into the main part of the discussion of today's episode. We'll try to first understand from you what is the focus area for Celcius Logistics. This is basically we want to understand area you have chosen to bring continuous solutions. Okay, because the world is very dynamic, you would be moving in certain direction. So what is that area you have chosen?
We understood a very critical pain point in India. We are an agriculture community, right? India is a Rishi Pradhan Desh, as we say. We are an agriculture first community. But in India, if you see certain reports that were created in 2021 by Ernst and Young and our own NCCD department, we lose up to 1.3 trillion rupees worth of perishable products every year. We have got more than 6,700 cold storages, but most of them only keep potatoes for a few months a year. Rest of the time, they are not being used. People are building cold storages but not able to do business in it. We have fresh organic vegetables being transported in dry trucks because cold chain solutions are not available to them, which again increases the wastage. We see from APMC market committees every day hundreds and hundreds of kilos of products being thrown away because they have already rotten or the shelf life was gone. We have seen this happen across India, which is affecting our farmers directly, which is affecting the small businesses, which is affecting the buying price by large businesses, eventually affecting the selling price and eventually affecting us. We are the ones who are buying in the market and the prices are higher. We saw an opportunity there when we understood that trying to solve the perishable commodity problem, how we can make this more sustainable, is the place where we took our play in Celcius. We started developing solutions to work in this segment. Our focus became perishable products that could range from fresh vegetables to pharmaceutical vaccines. It could be e-commerce, quick commerce, it could be QSR industry, modern trade, dairy, pharma. We found that the spread of cold supply chain across 8, 10 different segments was very high, but there was nobody connecting this entire segment together. So our focus area very strictly became cold supply chain to save on perishables and make sure that we bring about a true change in the entire industry where we save materials and we safeguard the quality of materials.
To summarize, what you're saying is basically the first line opening discussion you said wastage of food products in India is very high, and one of the support which can help is in the cold storage delivery solutions, and with that we can work on the reduction of the food wastage. So that could be that is a basically a focus area to work on to bring various kind of solutions possible in this area. So if we try to understand Celcius logistic now in this focus area, what different Celsius is bringing, why it is different from any other industry player. Number one, whether we do have really enough industry players in this industry, and number two, if they have, then why Celsius, various things like tech knowledge, what does Celsius has different?
Let me tell you about the existing industry players. There are people in the industry who are working in the cold supply chain, but everyone does one part of it. That means there is a transporter who does interstate transport. There is another transporter who works locally. There is a warehouse owner who has warehouses in 3 cities, but not in any other city. Then there is a distributor who does local distribution. Now, all these different segments of the industry are managed and handled by different people. When it comes to perishable product, what happens is for a client, for a farmer, for a manufacturer, anybody, for a small business owner, if he has to sell his products, he has to go through the entire supply chain where the product changes hands 7, 8 times. And because of that, the integrity of the product is also lost because no one is monitoring it. It's all transit mein hai or it is in the storage. But what is happening with the product, whether the temperature is maintained or not, whether the humidity is maintained or not, was it out of temperature zone at any time? There was no knowledge about it because we were lacking in tech. We were lacking in focus of the entire industry to solve this problem. And because of that, we realized that instead of having 7, 8 players trying to complete the chain, we would become a one end-to-end solution provider. So None of the existing players, one, have a tech play. They don't build their own tech. It's more asset building. If you are an existing player, you would create one more cold storage somewhere. But thinking about tech integration, creating your own tech is not your focus point, right? That's not your business. Your business is to make more cold storages. That is why Celsius came into the market with an asset-light model. We don't build cold storages. We don't build vehicles. We work with the existing guys who own it. We enable them with superior technology that we created, and then we help more clients to connect with them and carry out the business. But for a client, Celsius becomes the only part who does interstate, local distribution, warehousing, and managing the entire supply chain.
Okay, got it. So basically, your tech is your USP in cold chain logistics, we can say.
Tech is our innovation in cold chain logistics, and doing end to end is our USP because there is no end to end player in the market today.
Yeah, one point contact. Absolutely, yes. So, sort of today's discussion on MSME talk, we are expecting to know about services of Celsius, which can help MSMEs and startup to scale up. So, what's there in your bag today for the discussion?
Okay. So, Tripti, Celsius has got a lot of services, right? We provide transportation, warehousing, distribution. For the larger clients, we give all these services to them as part of our solutions. When it comes to MSME and startups, the main thing that we do is enable more distribution for them beyond their own city. We open up many more cities for them where they can do distribution and manage their supply chain through Celsius.
Okay, wonderful. So let's understand a little more about the benefits with MSMEs can get from Celsius Logistics. Okay, so please tell. I know there could be many benefits they can get it, but some top 3 to 5 benefits which your clients you have seen through getting through your business work.
For the MSMEs and the smaller entrepreneurs, one of the topmost benefits we give them is enable distribution channel in a different city by giving them some storage space, by giving them riders that can carry small quantities of their product and give it to retailers and distributors. The second benefit we can give them is pure storage. They can store as small a quantity as they want all across India while they're building their sales channel. So for the smaller businesses, what is more important is that product should be available in the other city because these are perishable products, right? The small businesses cannot afford to send something which will reach after 10 days. Most of the product will lose their shelf life. So we enable them to store it in a different city, even at a smaller quantity, which was not possible before today. Then another big benefit that we can give them is the small distribution that we do using riders. Now, this is an innovation we actually did for the small businesses only, where we introduce riders with a special bag, which has a special technology which allows us to carry perishable product at the correct temperature for up to 48 hours. So, MSME from, say, Hyderabad can distribute even 5 kgs of product in Delhi through his sales channel. So Celsius is enabling all these points for them.
Okay, so basically, even people sitting in tier 2, tier 3 cities making perishable products can look forward to reach out to entire geography which we will discuss what all places with you and increase their business. They can increase the market reach, and along not only market reach, they can plan their distribution storages deliveries etc along with you. Okay, wonderful. While we have understood this, let's understand. I know many small entrepreneurs who couldn't grow their businesses because of this simple challenge of lack of proper cold chain supply for the perishable product to different cities in their budget
Yes.
if they want. So yes, options were available for them to supply, but that would be only available for a rich class because sending it in the cold chain to another city would be very expensive. So we do understand you are bringing reach to products which is restricted because of perishable nature of the products. But at what cost and timeline? Is it a luxury or is it a really practical solution and cost effective solution for masses of MSMEs?
See, it depends very highly on the perishable nature. Some things are perishable for within 24 hours. Something perish after 7 days. Some have a shelf life of 15, 20 days. So when you have a higher shelf life, we use our road transport to get the product to another city. That is a part of the service that Celsius offers. So it goes like a part load on road transport and it reaches the other city. If you have a medium perishable, which is like within a week or something, we use railway network to send it. If it is something which is highly perishable within 24 or 48 hours, we can use our air cargo network. Now, what we did is, before us, there was no one dedicated to doing this. So every item that you wanted to send would be a luxury item. Trying to send a perishable product, even a small product. So, Tripti, before Celsius came into the picture, transporting perishable products over longer distances was a luxury because it used to be per unit or small quantity of products going to another city, which always used to be very high cost because you needed to take care of the cold supply chain yourself. When Celsius came in, we started different models of transport for the product, depending upon the perishability nature. There are some products which are perishable within 24 or 48 hours. Like, for example, litchis. You cannot really transport it for a long time. You need to get it ripe litchis faster. You have got some products which have 10, 15 days of perishable life. You have got some products which has a month of perishable life. So depending upon the perishable nature of the product and the product itself, we choose between road, rail, or air. So road will take a little longer, but is the cheapest option. So we use a part load system for them. Rail is the next option, which is for medium perishable items. And we enable air cargo for the highly perishable item. But even in air cargo, the rates are lower than what you would normally get because we aggregate demand from a city and send it together, which brings down the cost.
Okay, got it. So that way you are saying no. We are moving ahead from luxury to the practical use
Yes.
and reducing the cost for the small businesses to expand it to other cities. Okay. Now another important point which comes in the mind while taking care of this. Now cold chain product needs is related to the quality a lot because any product which is having perishable nature is linked with the food safety and quality. So how do you take care of that quality maintenance? How your client expecting would be there? What happens if something mishappening happens? So how this sensitive part is handled?
So, Tripti, this was the fun part for us because we understood right in the beginning of our journey that maintaining quality, assuring quality, being responsible is what is going to set us apart. The technology that we started developing answered this. There was no way to actually follow up with every driver, every warehouse operator, every labor to try to keep track of quality. What we did is we started using IoT devices everywhere. So these IoT devices are sensors which are monitoring temperature 24/7. These are gateways sending us information 24/7. These are mapping systems which keep checking on material. We started enabling the smallest of the transporter to the smallest of the cold storages with IoT devices and software, which you would typically see in very large Amazon or DHL warehouses. So we got our own systems made in Celsius, which as a cost is not even 1/10 of the cost of what you would get it outside. And we got it installed in all the vehicles, all the warehouses. This is sending us information over the cloud, which is live 24/7. We have never missed monitoring a product, right? From when it leaves you to when it reaches your customer. Even the riders carrying the bags for distribution have got a battery operated devices which is cloud connected. So we know while they are moving what temperature is there, is the product safe or not. This kind of audit that we do on our own systems created new SOPs and IOPs on working, which allowed us to monitor everything very, very closely. That's how we assure quality. Even if something goes wrong, we come to know about it immediately on the system. So then we can either take precautionary actions or we can at least inform कि ये खराब हो गया है. Do not take the risk of distributing it in the market. That's when you can assure quality to your customers.
Yes, that's very important part, and that saves the face of the manufacturer and suppliers and the brands. Wonderful. Before we get into the further details, I would like to you to share, which all businesses and sectors can use your services, which we all are discussing today. Could you just give some specific names of the sectors in industry who have already started using it? You are targeting to using it.
Sure. You're talking from a MSME perspective, right?
Yes, MSME startups. Yeah.
So startups were dealing in organic vegetables, fresh food delivery, restaurants who have started a new chain, cloud kitchens, small cloud kitchen startups who are now looking to expand into other cities, fresh fruit distributors. It could be a local farmer trying to create a brand for himself. We, in fact, have a few clients like those, who we can speak about later, who have tried to create their own brand from their own farming. We are able to supply to raw material suppliers for the QSR industry. Like if you have fresh prawns that are being delivered, or fresh fish, or it could be cheese, something that you manufacture specially, which is your specialty in manufacturing, can now be delivered across not just your city but other cities. So we are enabling a host of such businesses who are trying to increase their business. It could be a small ice cream manufacturer somewhere who has created his own brand but now has to increase in other cities.
Yeah, this is interesting because bakery and ice creams, a lot of people have got entered into it with the hobby and now getting into as a startup mode as professionally.
True.
Now let's understand what size of businesses your company is ready to cater to in terms of ticket size, order size, maybe some other logical filters would have been there or fitments at your end which you would be checking before onboarding a client.
A client has not been a very difficult criteria because most of the clients that we service to have had the same problems that we have been answering for quite a long time. So we understand the pain points of the clients very clearly, whether it be one segment or the other segment. We have been in this industry for such a long time that we have been able to clearly pinpoint their pain points. Now, what we do is when we are evaluating a client that we want to onboard, one, we obviously see the feasibility of their brand expanding into other cities, whether the product is something that will survive the journey. I mean, if you make a very delicate product, which is like a mawa burfi, it is very difficult, right, to try to transport it over long distances. It could lose its shape, it could lose its structure. So we do see the product itself before we onboard the client and we enable supply chain for them. We also see their capability of expanding. How much are they capable of using our network to expand the businesses and their production capabilities. Our people always visit a client before we onboard them. We always visit the client. We see the client's vision also. It is very important for us that the small MSME, a small startup, or the entrepreneur has got a bigger vision because we want to enable them with their vision. If the company itself lacks the vision, then they won't be able to utilize us. And what we are creating is very difficult, Ruti. It is something that we spend a lot of money, we pour in our heart into it. So we want the partners, the clients to be equally responsive to it. So that's how we are looking at it.
Let's take a quick break.
MSMEs and startups are looking for various kinds of support and upgrade. Are you a product service provider, expert, advisor, consultant, mentor for MSMEs and startups? Do reach out to MSME Talk to list your business. Check the link in the description. Okay, and if we talk about in terms of their sizes and orders, is there something bare minimum you will say, below this ticket size or order size, you will not take it?
Not really. We have done transport of products as small as 10 kgs for cloud kitchen startups across cities. I'm talking about from one city to the other. We have done as big as 500 kgs for them.
Okay, so are you saying, say for example, someone sitting in Indore want to send 10 kgs all together, but to five different cities, you won't mind taking that?
We won't. as long as they are part of the cities that we have already started the business, as in we don't claim to have started everywhere, but the cities that we are already doing, we'll be taking that.
Yes, exactly. That's my next question, Sarup. So, what area and location your company is ready to cater to in terms of pickup locations and delivery locations?
See, very honestly, we have got almost 26 cities today that we are catering to. Obviously, all the metro and tier 1 cities are there. There are a few tier 2 cities also. We have enabled, say, Varanasi, Jaipur, Lucknow, Chennai, Coimbatore. Obviously, Hyderabad and Bangalore and Mumbai and Kolkata are already there. So that's answer. That way we have 26 cities, and happy to anybody who wants to see our list of cities can easily go to our website, have a look at the cities that we have enabled. And one thing, by next year we'll add a lot more. We are always looking at cities where business comes in, and that is one of the criteria, Tripti. If a city shows a lot of interest, we will put in the money to get that city live.
Wonderful. Oh, that's a very interesting point. You have put in across on the other businesses. If you want us to come to you, tell us, and we will be there in your city. Oh, wonderful. This is very interesting. I'm just diverting from the today's discussion. We never imagined when we started MSME Talk that we would get messages from Andaman Nicobar. And that just, within few months of started, it just blew my mind when I got an email from Andaman. And this gentleman says, so thankful for your, one of the episode on CFO for a business. And can you make some episode on this? And he literally sent me a list.
That is the beauty of India, Tripti. We don't know where the entrepreneurs are. There are entrepreneurs in places you wouldn't even think of and making products that no one imagines. And they're good quality products. Only problem is their lack of funds and lack of supply chain. Two big issues that they have.
Right, right. Okay. So let's understand a little about your business before we get more into the services. Let's understand Celsius. So please tell us, our listeners, something about your existing client segments, like what kind of sizes of your client you're catering to, your industries, geographies, something which you feel proud about. We will love to hear.
Tripti, we have more than 550 clients today across India. And they range from clients as big as Zepto, Zomato, Parag, Baskin Robbins, to as small as some Litchi manufacturers from Muzaffarpur, like Shahi Litchis, to a small ice cream manufacturer in Haridwar, to a momo manufacturer in Hyderabad. So our client range, you will see a client who's giving us 10,000 business a month to 3 crores business a month. So ticket size wise, we are catering to all of them. We are not differentiating between clients looking at the size of the business, because for us, it's very important that we cater to the smaller clients also, because tomorrow, us catering to 100 of them, even if 10 of them succeed, they are going to bring in crores of business for us. And we would be their unique supply chain partners. So we are betting on their future.
Sarup, please tell us how big is business today at Celcius Logistics in terms of some business numbers or comparative ranking in the country, or a scenario considering the global level also.
So, Tripti, if you look at India as a market, we are happy to say we are in the top three today. We are just a 3-year young company, not old. So, but still, we are very happily placed in the top three cold supply chain companies in India. In a couple of years, we will very securely hold the number one rank. In terms of volume, we are currently doing about a 200 crore ARR right now, but our growth is almost doubling every year. So you can imagine where we'll be in the next 5 years. And internationally, the things that we do in India, internationally, we have seen only two other businesses, one in Indonesia and one in US, who are doing very similar to us, who are being niche and very diving deep into cold supply chain. So across the world, we have just a couple more competition, and but India being the complex market, we are actually creating the most complex solutions. So we are hoping the day we start our international expansion, we will be number one at some point in the world also.
Happy to, see you grow that level, and very confident you will be able to do it to reach at the international level and win over other countries. Since you mentioned complex solutions, complexities of the situations where you are working, and India being a complex market in this segment also, so can you share some real case studies, one or two from different industries, how your service contributed significantly in solving the problem or supporting the growth of those particular businesses?
So one instance that comes to mind is a company called Litchi. We actually did three-city distribution for them this year. They are this super brand Litchi company out of Muzaffarpur, where they have created their own brand, beautiful branding. They're a small company, but they have got the branding on spot. Everything was done nicely. Last year, they tried distributing the lychees across a few cities using one of the renowned courier agencies, where they packed it, gave it to the courier agency, got delivered after 2 days. But the lychees were all about to die. The quality was not the same. The taste changed, the look changed. So they got a lot of negative feedback. This year, when they heard about us, they tried us. The quantities were not very big for us, but we took on the challenge. We picked up the lychees, we packaged it in proper cold chain packaging, and we distributed in those cities. I, in fact, got one box for myself also in Mumbai. My daughter loves them, so I got them at home. I was very happy when I opened it. I got fresh, cold lychees, like it would come out of a fridge, perfectly shaped, and it was amazingly tasty. Happy to say that the client got more than 95% positive feedback from their customers. With that, they were very appreciative, went on LinkedIn, thanked us. We got a lot of good testimonials from them. And now they are trying to do other fruits also, because now they got the confidence that we can do the distribution for them. So next season, they are going to double their business in lychees. But before that, they want to involve with us doing with other fruits that they can now sell as a brand across different cities.
Okay, very nice. And any other industry, Swarup, you can pick up?
Yeah. So from Varanasi, we had this sweet manufacturer who wanted to supply sweets to Mumbai. But when he was trying it through the regular method, none of the sweets reached in their original condition. They were all mixed up. They were not cold, so they were losing integrity. So the quality of what he manufactures is one of the best there, but he couldn't deliver the same quality here. So very recently, what we did is we picked up the material from Varanasi. While Varanasi was not a city that we serviced, but we were servicing a city which was hardly 2-3 hours away. So as a special favor, we sent our people there, picked it up, and we got it to Mumbai. Again, the result was the same. When they opened the packaging, they got something which looked like it was kept in the fridge, freshly made from the kitchen, so that the taste, the look, the texture, everything remained the same. Now, if you are a sweet lover, you'll know I'm a Bengali. So
Absolutely. You started sweet and Varanasi. Since then, the thought coming in our mind, what about the Bengali sweets?
Kolkata is a big business for us. I mean, we have enabled more than maybe 30, 40 outlets distribution across India. So it's a big business. In Kolkata, sending the sweets is a massive business. So, but they have already scaled up quite a bit. So I'm giving you examples of new clients who will now scale up. Maybe next year when we talk, these clients will be some of our bigger clients because we would have enabled much more for them.
Yes, and they all, in fact, new generation in Kolkata of these sweet shops who have legacy of known names. So new generation has come and they're very enthusiastic about expanding to rest of the part of the India or the world. I recently saw Balram Malik outlet being opened in near to your place in Navi Mumbai. Yeah. So
No, no, the new generation is all gung ho about doing more, not just running the same store or maybe open one more store in the same area. They want that brand to expand. The new generation is all about our brand should be there everywhere.
absolutely. Yeah.
Let's take a quick break.
Hey, MSME Talk listeners, hope you have not missed subscribing to our newsletter for the latest news, blogs, podcast updates. Check the link in the description. We don't spam your inbox and hence we do have one of the highest rate of newsletter opening in the industry. Wonderful partner. So, Rup, let's now understand the entire service delivery by company for perishable goods sellers and suppliers to expand. So, in this part, dear listeners, let's get on a ride with Swarup, Celcius, cold chain logistics service provider. So, Swarup, tell us, you do tell us when you are getting onto a bike, when you are getting onto a truck, okay, while you are taking us through this process. Please take one small case study and take a step by step from the user perspective. Imagine there is a user small business. Say, hypothetically taking an example of a business A, which is making without preservatives, dips, and sauces from a city called Nasik in Maharashtra, India. So, how the experience of your services will start. So let's start, how the engagement will begin with your company, between your company and the manufacturer, and please take us through the entire journey.
So now the first point of contact would be our sales team talking to this dips manufacturer in Nashik, where we would understand what are his plans, where he wants to expand the business, how much quantity he wants to send, what would be his 6 month projection, 1 year projection. We would discuss all this with him. Then we would run a small test product. We would take maybe one box or something and we would send it through our channels to a different city, whichever city he wants, or maybe a city that we can receive the product and have a look. Once this test run is successful, that is when we connect him to our network. Now, this Nashik manufacturer would keep his products ready. Any one of our vehicles which is crossing Nashik would now pick this up in a cold chain, in a refrigerated vehicles.
Okay, please tell us. We are there with you on the vehicle. Which vehicle you are taking us there?
Oh, it could be a small Tata Ace or a Bolero. It could be a large 32 feet truck. It could be a medium sized truck. It could be anything
Okay,
because it will be the nearest vehicle which is touching that point.
okay, got it.
So, and has space in it basically.
Hmm.
So, this would visit them. So, this is tracked on our system, right? So, whenever we get an inquiry, we know that this vehicle is the nearest and it can pick it up. We don't send a dedicated vehicle because it will increase your cost and we don't want that happening. So, the nearest vehicle will come, pick it up, package it, put it in the truck in a proper cold manner so we can track the temperature of the product. It will go to the nearest distribution hub. Now, when you talk about Nashik, the nearest would be Bombay or Pune. So it will go there. From there, the packaging changes. Now, we decide whether this product has to go through air cargo or does it have to go through rail cargo. Depending on that, depending upon, if you remember, we spoke about the perishability nature. How many days can it stay? Now it's dips. I believe it will have larger time to handle. So we will pack it in such a way that we can send it through a rail cargo. Our people would then drop it at the railway station. It will get, and we are still tracking it, right? We still know that it is in the train because there's a battery operated device along with the package. So we know where it is and what temperature is it at. So there is no tampering with the product during the journey. If there is any tampering, we come to know immediately. So now we are tracking it on the train. So now you're with me on the train. We are going from point A to point B. At point B, there'll be an employee of Celcius ready to receive it, who will again take it to a hub of that city. And from that hub, we will now hand it over to one of our riders. The rider will do the absolute last mile and deliver it to the final destination. Again, it will change packaging once more because the packaging used during rail will lose its integrity. It can hold for 24 hours, 48 hours. So now we change packaging once more. So now the fresh packaging is what will get delivered to the end user.
Okay, wonderful. So, thank you for taking this through, a kind of a visual thing. I was just visually having a picture how the movement of the dips are happening and explain it very clearly to us. So, tell me one thing. client, say this dip manufacturer which we're discussing, can he take your service for a one time, or they have to sign a longer tenure contract with you?
See, Trupti, very honestly, we right now at our journey, we are looking for clients who will engage more, because for us to enable a supply chain, we have to go through a lot of hoops. We have to create that route. We have to make sure that the assets are there, the bags are there, the cold chain assets are there. So doing it for one time for a new city is difficult. But if he is from one of our existing cities, we are happy to do it one time. That is not a problem.
Okay, got it. And this makes sense also because you have to scale up, you have to invest in the back end. So, fine. Okay, now let's understand to whom does the sellers can send the packages to. Why I'm asking this is because you have many services integrated. Okay, so they can send directly to the users, or they can send it to some kind of a dark stores, cold storage places in different cities. How this entire, this particular part is stitched.
So answer is all of the above. You can send it to a cold storage that I have
Okay.
for stocking for a longer time.
Okay.
You can send it to your retailer.
Okay.
You can send it to your distributor.
Okay.
Or if you have an offline sales channel where people are ordering directly from you, we
Okay.
can deliver it to their home.
Okay.
It entirely depends on where you want to send it.
Oh wow. So that's crazy. I mean, you have complete system in your hand in that way distribution. Wow. That's really awesome. You're taking away the and lot of searchability, investing time in negotiation with multiple people. So if any small businesses want to scale up to the next level, they don't need to figure out which new vendors they have to engage with.
Absolutely. They don't need to even figure out where will they keep their product.
Yeah, exactly. For everything.
I mean, if you want a new city, yeah, the whole point of Celsius Tripti is it works because we take away your pain of creating supply chain. We rather leave you to expand your business. You spend your time and money into sales. Forget about how it will reach there. We will do that for you. Sell more, engage with us more. We will earn more. You will earn more. It's a synergistic system.
Yes, and all the listeners who are liking this, please ensure to give testimonials and feedback to MSME Talk. Just on the lighter note. So let's get into the other part. So now after reaching the cold storage or dark rooms, how the delivery happens to the retail, that is being taken care by your system, or does client also at times can employ their system to deliver a pickup from your cold storages or dark rooms?
So we enable delivery right up to the retailer or to a customer's house.
Okay.
But if you want to pick up from our dark store, more than happy to engage with that. We don't see that happening too often because from our dark store or our distribution hub
Okay.
to your client or to your retailer, if you are not going to maintain cold chain, then what is the use of maintaining it all the while?
Got it. Okay.
You're still going to screw up the product. So we seldom see anybody wanting to pick it up directly from our hub.
Okay.
They rather engage with us end to end.
Got it. Got it. Tracking related. So in this entire process, since you have tracking, temperature, everything, right? Your manufacturing suppliers are also able to have access to this on their app or dashboards or something.
Oh yeah, yeah. They have got an Android app. They have got a web login. The Android app will give them all live updates. They can see live at any time. They've got a web login where they will even get data analytics. Analytics like how much time, what should you change? Was this route okay for you? Is this taking longer? What will enable faster? So we give them analytics that they can now take business decisions on.
Okay, got it. Now let's understand a little additional information. So we have broadly understood how the process works and how anyone can take use of your services. Yours is a tech enabled services. So everything is driven by tech. Okay. Now tell us more about the benefits these businesses can get in terms of reports they can generate. Reason being because this report generation can also help them improvising their businesses further.
One of the basic reports that they can generate is the location and the temperature data.
Hmm.
So right from the point it leaves their hands
Hmm.
to the point it reaches the last hand, they can check whether how much time it took how much temperature was maintained, was there any problem in the temperature, if their product reached the final destination
Hmm.
and it is still not as fresh as he wanted it to be,
Hmm.
then was it a problem with the temperature,
Hmm.
or is the product shelf life lesser than he imagined?
Okay.
Now he can modify his own manufacturing process, his own packaging process, his own distribution channels
Mm-hmm.
to suit this.
Okay.
So he can download and study all this from our system.
Okay. Got it. Yeah, that's going to help a lot because improvising or adding more products, broadening their product lines or maybe some integrations backward or forward they want to do it, and it will this data will help doing that. My next question to you is to understand the support system which Celcius Logistics provides. This is again a specific question for a tech based companies. Reason being, coming of tech, we have become bot service providers or support systems. Most of the places, first point of contact is bot. Now, how does it happen in your case? How the users or businesses taken care through bots or customer care executives? How does it happen?
So, Tripti, whenever we book an order on a system, one operations executive is always attached to it. So, every operations executive has multiple orders that they are physically looking after. They are monitoring it themselves. They monitor it 24/7, in fact. Our clients don't need to call us as such because they know exactly where the product is, how much time it will reach. They can see a live location, they can see the live temperature. In case they do need to call us because of any reason, they have got two helplines. One is the technical helpline where app login, app problems, and all, they can call and talk to a real person, not a bot. They can even email on an emergency email address and they get a response within 30 minutes. Operationally, if they have a large problem, then they can call our hunter number. We have got a central line which will now connect this to the guy who's handling the operation. Those instances are very rare.
Yes, exactly. But at times, small business owners, they might have some query to understand. They might not have thought through something, or something comes up in their mind related to the food they are delivering it. Okay. Instead of, going through a bot, they might be in a situation they want to talk to a real person.
We believe in talking to a real person.
Okay.
Bot services in Perishable is not really in line with the idea of Celsius. We want automation, but we want it to be alive also.
Wonderful. And that would help in employment generation also. We really need more jobs in India. Okay. Since you are into logistics, okay, and that also cross states. Now, again, India has complexities of cross states, okay. So, how does a documentation process handled to make it easy for these suppliers and manufacturers and brands?
Tripti, since the GST regime came in, the cross states has become much easier. I mean, generate a e-way bill, give it to us, make sure your invoices are ready. Then it is just checking the papers at the borders. It's no more the satellite checking that used to happen when there was VAT services. We had to depend on a state to authenticate a VAT and then go check it in another state. With the GST regime coming in, crossing a border has become very easy as long as you have the right paperwork. When a client gives us the paperwork, they have to upload it on a system, the invoice, the e-way. So everything is available even on the driver's app. So the driver can just quickly scroll through and show it to the border security and the vehicle passes through.
Got it. Okay. So with the app, it has become easier because they can do it uploading on your systems. Okay, nice. Uh, let's understand to the interesting part. What are the key features and functionalities of Celsius Logistics, which your clients just love and hence become your repetitive customers?
Depends upon the criteria of the customer. So obviously the clients love the technology. Today, earlier they had to call drivers to find out kidhar ho, where is the vehicle, are you maintaining temperature, can you send me a photo. If you annoy the driver too much, he would just switch off his phone and disappear. So now you're Bhagwan Bharose when it will reach. Today, they hardly have to make even one call because they can wake up from their sleep, just check on the app how much it has traveled, where it is right now, and they know all the details. They don't need to pursue us to get any data report. They don't need to worry that if a vehicle breaks down, did anyone ever notice it? We had a instance during COVID. We were not doing the transport, but a customer sent a full truckload of COVID medicines, and the driver, for some reason, abandoned the vehicle in MP and ran away. For 24 hours, people didn't even know that the vehicle was abandoned. It was just standing there. This kind of instances don't happen in Celcius. We are monitoring, the client is monitoring, and we are very transparent. If there is something wrong, we let them. If there's an accident, we let them know. We send help, we try to salvage material, but we don't hide anything, which my clients love. Because they know if it is with Celcius, if things go wrong, they'll take care of it. And if they have not given us information, then things went smoothly.
Okay, so I can say tracking and transparency is something clients love about sales.
They love. Yes, they do. Yeah.
Okay, good. Tracking and transparency. Wonderful. So now, have you, ever come across a situation where the use of your services is for something which is beyond the imagination of yours?
Yeah, yeah. We transported EV vehicles, scooters, because it was 50 degrees plus outside at that time. If you remember, this summer temperatures reach 50 degrees plus, and when you're not riding the EV, the battery tends to get overheated if you're just keeping it in a normal vehicle. The normal dry vehicle, Tripti, if it's 50 outside, inside will be 60. The vehicles were getting overheated in transport. So they actually hired us to send batches of EV vehicle where we had to maintain only 30 degrees plus temperature. It's nothing. I mean, we can maintain minus 30. They asked us to maintain plus 30. We were very surprised when the EV manufacturer suddenly called us saying that, can you do this?
Wonderful, wonderful. In fact, in one of the recent episode, we had a guest from EV bike manufacturer founder, eMotorate. So if any listener want to listen to him, they can access our June MSME Day episode. Let's understand, is there a benchmark for you to improvise and grow from current industry in India or outside, or maybe some other industry, but that could be your benchmark?
I would say delivery.
Okay.
We look at delivery and its model, how they have grown, and we have seen very similar journey happening with us. They also started as an aggregator model. They also started with a niche segment. Then they expanded into more cities. We have been doing a very similar journey,
Okay.
not as a benchmark, but as a guideline, I would say.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Maybe some kind of a, you keep it at something. Okay, this is for us to follow what they're doing it, how they're doing.
Oh, we don't follow, but we learn from them. Yes, definitely. Their journey is very impressive. Over a very short period, they have become market leaders. And if your listeners heard my entire podcast, they will with you. They will understand we are also doing that. We are looking at becoming market leaders very shortly.
Hmm.
And the responsibility of a market leader is that others will follow you.
Hmm, 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 hmm.
That is a benchmark we set for ourselves. That we make systems that others can copy.
Got it. And any international name? You were mentioning about Indonesia and US.
US, yeah, there's a company called Highway Hall in US
Okay.
who are about 1.5 year ahead in their journey,
Okay.
and they are also doing pretty well.
Okay.
But my colleagues in Highway Hall have it easier
Okay.
because they don't have to fight to get technology installed. US is highly advanced, and all their trucks come with inbuilt technology.
Ah.
We have to make sure every transporter is educated, trained, made understood, and then installed. So our fight is tougher,
Hmm.
but our journey is similar.
Okay. Got it. So, Saurabh, which other problems comes to your mind for which you would like to bring solutions in your ecosystem? I know one you just now you mentioned, your driver systems, truck system, but at your, which you can bring these solutions.
Agri supply chain.
Agri supply chain.
I want to be the first company who actually enables our agri supply chain with cold supply chain. Today, agriculture products, farming products are not really using cold supply chain because of two main reasons.
Got it.
One, unavailability of asset. Second, the expense. So we are hoping to get into that industry and solve those problems.
Okay. I mean, it's definitely worth doing it. And so many things are happening into agri supply chain, and agri related tech is coming a lot. This is definitely required when we know so much is getting wasted. So, Roop, while going through the journey of growth of Celsius technologies, I understood a lot of forward integration kind of a stuff is already there, and a little bit of parallel or a backward integration is also there. Is there something else also in the plans for the next level?
Yeah, so there'll be a few more supply chain integrations.
Okay.
Like we are hoping to start our own railway network, not send parcels. I'm talking about entire rail bogies and containers to be booked under cold chain. We are hoping to launch that next year. We will also be looking into shipping as a solution for especially for our exporters, whether it be pharmaceutical or fresh fruits. We have a lot of export happening in India,
Hmm.
but Celsius has not partaken beyond the port. So that is something again we will look at expanding into. So we are also looking at creating blockchain as a solution to our ecosystem, which will enable much better value when it comes to export. It will be the one of the first blockchain enabled supply chain in India. That's what we are aiming to do.
So I actually can imagine lot of excitement for you and no time to rest because you have so much ideas coming up to expand and grow.
We can rest when we have achieved our dreams.
Wonderful. So now, you have shared a lot what Celsius technology is doing it. It's absolutely right that we cannot discuss everything what Celsius technology is doing it because there's so many different areas you're working, and if we sit across, it will take many hours to understand every part of Celsius technologies. But one particular part, how can a small businesses and startups can take care help of it? You have explained it very well, taking us through the entire space of that support they can take it for the logistics of perishable goods and expanding to various cities and growing their businesses. Now, before moving to the last section, I would like to know something from your personal side. Could you share something about you, which social media and professional network sites, etc., doesn't know?
I'm an avid biker. I go to Ladakh every year. In fact, I'm going like in the next couple of weeks. I ride my bike. I go to the highest mountains, highest motorable road in the world, Umlingla. I go with my friends. We are on the road for 15, 20 days, battling nature, going through bad to worse roads. But
Okay.
I do that every year.
Wow.
So that is something I don't think social media would know.
So this happens, Sarup, from Mumbai or you starts from Delhi?
Depends. If it's Ladakh, we start from Delhi.
Okay.
But if it's South India, like last year we did entire South Brahman, I would say. That we started from Mumbai, ended back in Mumbai.
Okay. And I'm sure you would be carrying your technology driven storage bags.
So I do retrofit some to carry food and water and all, but most of it is clothes and necessary items that are loaded on the bikes itself. We don't have a car with us, right? So we carry everything on the bike.
Yes, yes. Okay. Very interesting. So let's move to the next part, Surup, which is the last section of our today's discussion. And this is not related to Celsius. This is more related to our listeners who are entrepreneurs, MSME entrepreneurs, and startup owners. From your learning of the journey, okay, please tell us the top most three things you would recommend as guiding principles for the entrepreneurs. And when I say guiding principles, they are more from a longish perspective, which is giving them wisdom and guide.
The first and foremost would be to believe in your own vision, especially when others won't believe in it, especially when others push you to stop, to change, to divert, to give up. It is very difficult to become an entrepreneur. It is even more difficult to become successful. And it is even more difficult to keep the success without falling down. The only way you can go through that journey is if your vision is strong, you believe in it while not caring what others say. Listen to them, yes. Take advice from them, yes. But at the end of the day, there is not a single successful businessman in the world who has become successful because he followed somebody else's path. He followed his own path, and that's why they have unique stories. They all write a book because they have got their own unique story to tell. So believe in yourself. That's my guru mantra forever. Next would be plan better. Plan for failure. I'm not saying you will fail, but plan for failure so you're ready when that hits, and it will hit. I don't think there's a single business out there who didn't go through a time where the business owner said, "Bahut ho gaya. Let me just give up. Let me just go and do a job. This headache is too much to bear." I have gone through it several times over the past 3 years. I'm sure I'll go through it again. But when you plan for it, the blow is lesser. Your confidence will shake but not shatter. So plan for failure.
Wonderful. What else?
Build the right team. Very, very important. You are an entrepreneur, so you will think about doing everything yourself, which is in nature. Me, I'm also like that. Even today, even if one vehicle is broken down somewhere, I'm active on my WhatsApp group chasing my operations team. But if you build the right team, you will get the support system that you didn't know you wanted. You will realize that you can take a little downtime because burnout is a major factor in failure. There'll come a time when you're not able to take it anymore. That is when the right team members will support you. If you're not well, somebody in the house is not well, your business won't crumble because you have the right people backing you up. Spend on building the team and trust in them.
Wonderful. Very, very solid principles you have said, and which any or every business needs it to follow it. An entrepreneur need to, go through this. Let's understand a little short term, which is like maybe a shortcuts or a hacks, which you can. You come from the tech background. You come from a lot of experience. What is something you would like to tell our listeners?
The easiest way to succeed is becoming a subject matter expert.
Okay.
In the short term, initially, so today no one will ask me what is cold chain, right? Because they understand Celsius is doing well in cold chain, so the demand is there, everything is there. But when we started our journey, there would be a question: why cold chain? What is the use of it? Because a normal person wouldn't realize the need of it. Now, when they come at you with 100 questions, be ready with 150 answers, because that is when they believe you. Because they don't know your industry, but you should know your industry. When you gain success, people look at you to as a guiding light. But when you're building the business, you better know your stuff inside out. Otherwise, forget about people who will invest with you. Even your own colleagues will be shaky on their belief. So, Guru Mantra to short term success: study the hell out of your own industry. Know everything about it.
Okay. Maybe some hacks may not be related to success only, but while doing the work, business, is there something, any tech piece, any app,
For starters,
any entrepreneurs, startups, anything?
I mean, one of the simplest answers there is innovate.
Hmm.
Don't come up with solutions which are very apparent and can be copied easily. If you can come up with a solution which is difficult to copy and the solution itself is more difficult,
Hmm.
then you have hit the nail on the head. I keep telling people that our industry is difficult. Our solutions are much more difficult to copy, but that becomes our USP. So again, I fall back to you really need to know the industry yourself to come up with solutions like that. So whether it leads to success or it doesn't lead to success, one thing is for sure, there'll be a number of people backing you up for that, just because of that.
Tell me something about how do you manage your time? Do you use any app, any technology or something?
No, my daughter is my app in that. So after a certain time, my daughter is my alarm clock that it's time to shut down and spend time with her. While I was talking to you, because it's pretty late, I got like 4 missed calls from her already that it's about time you give up. So my hack to manage time is family. You Give them the right to shut you down,
Okay.
and they will manage your time for you. Otherwise, as entrepreneurs, we get lost, Tripti. We get into the business and we forget that the world exists and we are just in the middle of it.
Okay, good. So cool. Thanks a lot, Sarup. Wonderful time and the discussion we had today. I'm sure people who are into the related businesses know more about you and make use of your business into their growth. And definitely, we are going to touch base again because you have so much of things which we cannot cover in one episode today. So, thank you so much for joining, Sarup. We had a wonderful discussion.
Thank you so much.
Hey, if you like the information shared on the podcast, why don't you give some good reviews to us on Apple or Spotify? Through this episode, I hope you would have got some answers to your queries and guidance for way forward. Do share your learnings from the episode, your feedbacks and suggestions. If you are an entrepreneur and have questions from experts or any particular topic or profile of expert you want to hear, or if you are an industry expert with MSME as a target audience, do reach out to us. Our link is given in description. And at last, please do subscribe for MSME Talk podcast and don't forget to share the podcast link with your friends, family and network. Take care. Goodbye. Happy to share MSME Talk podcast enters peak ranking chart of 10th country in the Apple Podcast country level entrepreneurship category. If you are an expert or provide product or services to small businesses, MSMEs and startups, reach out to us to discuss showcase opportunity in MSME Talk. Contact details given in description.